What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Top 10 list. This Top 10 isn't my opinion about a Top 10, but this is a Top 10 set in stone for the Top 10 songs in 1965 as recorded by Billboard on the end of the year charts. This is the first video in my Top 10 series from the 1960s, and I really hope this one doesn't get blocked. I kind of feel like songs from the 60s have a better chance of being blocked than any other decade for some reason, but then again, the 70s probably have some top 10s that include the Eagles, and if Don Henley is a writer on one of those songs, it's definitely going to get blocked. Well, we're going to take the chance anyway. First, if you want to check out my brain farts, then follow me on the tweeters. Alright, so let's get to the top 10 songs in 1965 that include a man that sadly died on the toilet, a couple of white guys that you would never think had any soul just by looking at them, and a song that could be the theme to every commercial selling a sweet treat. Up first is a song that was written by Smokey Robinson, although it wasn't performed by him. Smokey was, however, on tour with the group that he wound up giving the song to after they convinced him that it would be a better hit for them instead of Smokey's group, The Miracles. Smokey actually finished the song at the Apollo Theater where both groups would be performing during their shared tour. This song was this group's first of their 4 number 1 hits, and it was also the first number 1 hit for a male vocal group on the Motown label. The number 10 song is My Girl by The Temptations. This next song was written by Artie Glenn and originally recorded by his son Darryl Glenn, and it went through a bunch of covers, but the one by this giant rock star is the number 9 song on this list. When this song hit number 1 in the UK, it set an industry benchmark by leading this singer to be the first to have 15 number 1 hits. In the US, it was just a measly number 3 hit. This artist ended up with 18 number 1 hits, earning second place to only the Beatles with 20 number 1 hits. This song was actually responsible for sparking a re-emergence from this singer since his last million-selling hit from 1962 called Return to Sender. Unfortunately, this is the singer that I alluded to earlier that died on the toilet 12 years after this hit song in 1977. The number 9 song is Crying in the Chapel by Elvis Presley.
You saw me crying in the chapel. The tears I shed were tears of joy. I know the meaning of contentment. Now I'm happy with the Lord. Just a plain and simple chapel where humble people go to pray. I pray the Lord that I'll grow stronger as I live from day to day.
I've never heard this next song, and I'm familiar with the band, but I've never really went through their catalog. I do, however, know 2 of their songs with I'm Into Something Good from 1964 and I'm Henry the Eighth I Am from 1965 as well. I'm not really too fond of that last one, though. They do have 18 top 40 hits on the Billboard Hot 100, and 11 of those are top 10, with 2 of them being number 1 hits. This one came in at number 2 in 1965, behind the Supremes' hit song Stop in the Name of Love. They're an English pop rock band, and their music has a very cheery bubblegum pop sound, and it's one of the genres of music that I'm probably least into. It's definitely peak 60s beach type music, kind of like the movies that starred Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon. It's not exactly like that, but it kind of gives me that feeling. The number 8 song is Can't You Hear My Heartbeat by Herman's Hermits.
Every time I see you looking my way, baby, baby, can't you hear my heartbeat? In the park or walking down the highway, baby, baby, can't you hear my heartbeat? When you move up closer to me, I get a feeling that's ooey. Can't you
Next on this list is one of my favorite songs from this incredibly popular band from the 60s. You've probably heard of them unless you're from another planet. The song was originally intended to be a slower song, but they sped it up to be more commercial, and it wound up being only 2 minutes and 18 seconds. The main writer of the song described that moment of his life as his, and I quote, Fat Elvis period. I think my entire life has been my Fat Elvis period. Actually, Fat Elvis had a lot more success than I have. That artist is John Lennon, and Paul McCartney, who helped him finish the song, said that he didn't realize it at the time, but it was a cry for help, and he wished he'd recognized it sooner. The number 7 song. The next song is a kind of cheery song, or at least that's how it's interpreted by a lot of people, but every time I hear it, I picture it in a kind of apocalyptic setting, or just an overall ironic setting where it conveys the opposite of its intended meaning. Upon reading about the song, a quote from the singer in an interview confirms that she has the same view even though she didn't write the song. She said, I've always thought there was this loneliness, and there's even a slight feeling of desperation in it. The singer won a Grammy at the 1965 award show for this song in the Best Rock and Roll Recording category, making her the first British singer to win a Grammy. The song was also inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2003. I shrugged my shoulders because the song is labeled as soul, and it was up against the Beatles' Hard Day's Night and Roy Orbison's Oh Pretty Woman, which seemed to be a little bit more rock and roll to me. The number 6 song is Downtown by Petula Clark.
When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown. When you've got worries, all the noise and the hurry seems to help, I know. Downtown, just listen to the music of the traffic in the city. Linger on the sidewalk where the neon signs are pretty. How can you lose? The lights are much brighter there. You can't forget all your troubles, forget all your cares. So go downtown. Things will be great when you're downtown. No finer place for sure. Downtown, everything's waiting for you.
This next song was also nominated for the 1965 Best Rock and Roll Recording with the last entry, Petula Clark. You can actually see this duo in the first Blue Eyed Soul video I did here with Blue Eyed Soul legend Bobby Caldwell, who recently passed away in March. The song was played more than 8 million times on American TV and radio from 1965 to 2000, which is more than any other song for the 20th century according to BMI Music Publishing, but that also includes covers of the song. The producer, Phil Spector, was a very meticulous, painstakingly detailed worker, and one of the singers remember working on the vocal with Phil for 8 hours. The number 5 song is You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin' by the Righteous Brothers.
You never close your eyes anymore when I kiss your lips, and there's no tenderness like grief in your fingertips. You're trying hard not to show it, but baby, I know it. You lost that love and feeling. Oh, that love and feeling. You lost that love and feeling. Now it's gone, gone, gone. Oh.
This is another group that I'm not too familiar with, and they didn't have much success on the charts in their rather short career from 1965 to 1973. They were a folk rock band from San Francisco, and they had 2 top 40 hits, and this was one of them, reaching number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. This group could be in my Androgynous Voices videos, where you try to figure out if it's a male or a female singing, and people often wonder if the lead singer on this song is a male or a female, but it's actually both. They're just singing in unison. That would have had you all scratching your heads. There's some speculation on this song that there was a different female vocalist that sang it before the song became a hit, and that the music they put out after the song was more Broadway-ish with lead singer Beverly Bivens' voice, and she had a very different style than the voice on this song after that. It's a conspiracy theory that still hasn't had any closure, not that it's really a big deal anyway, though. The number 4 song is You Were On My Mind by We 5.
Just to ease my pain, I got trouble, I got worried, I came home again, but I woke up this morning, you were on my mind, and you were on my mind. I got troubles, oh, oh, I got worries, oh, oh, I got moves to buy.
I think I heard this next song for the first time in an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called Raw Deal in 1986. The song plays in a scene where Arnold is, what else, mowing down a bunch of mob guys at a construction site. Check it out if you like a good action movie with machismo. The song can be used and interpreted for a ton of different situations, but the main theme of the song is about the two sides of America with the real and the phony in terms of looking for authenticity in marketing and advertising throughout the country, otherwise known as commercialism. The band later used this to make a lot of money on their tours with merchandise and sponsorships. If you've ever seen a shirt with this on it, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. The number 3 song is I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. Up next is a song from one of the most popular soul groups of the 60s and 70s. Their lead singer was the voice of the Audrey 2 plant in the very popular 1986 movie Little Shop of Horrors. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1990 and into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 1999. This was their first of 2 number 1 hits, with the other one being Reach Out, I'll Be There from 1966. They put out 27 studio albums and have had 24 top 40 hit songs. This is the song that I alluded to earlier in the intro of this video that I've heard in commercials for sweet treats. The number 2 song is I Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch by the Four Tops. final song in this video is a song with a title that doesn't make sense at all. Most of the lyrics don't make sense either. So this is one of those songs that kind of proves that lyrics don't really matter as long as the rest of the song gives you a certain groove or danceability. Even though this band isn't Egyptian, they would wear Egyptian outfits on stage while performing because of their stage name. Now this is probably the weirdest part about this song and the group that I don't understand, and if you do, then explain it to me. But this song never hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it was number 2 on the charts for just 2 weeks. But it's the number 1 song of 1965. The number 1 song of 1965 is Wooly Bully by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bully, bully. Watch it now, watch it. Here it come, here it come. Watch it now, he get you.
So that's the top 10 songs of 1965, folks. It was definitely a different vibe than today. I like a few of the songs in this top 10, but I'd have to say that my favorite song out of these is probably Help by the Beatles. The one that I like singing to the most is You've Lost That Lovin' Feelin' by the Righteous Brothers, even though I'm not even close to singing like the Righteous Brothers. I do, however, sing along with them and act like my voice blends in perfectly with theirs in harmony. I never said I wasn't crazy. Alright, so let me know what songs are your favorites, and I'll see you later.